What's my cue?
Hey bestie, it's Kati Wasserman. I am a mom, an esthetician, the owner of Flagstaff Skincare Med Spa, and Prickly Bear Skincare, a post-hair removal line. I started Beauty Talk Confessions because honestly, I got tired of how fake the beauty industry can feel. The conversations that happen between wax strips, peels, and facials that no one ever talks about publicly, we are gonna go there. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's peel back the layers, one confession at a time. Welcome to Beauty Talk Confessions, where the secrets come out and the glow gets real. Welcome back to Beauty Talk Confessions. I'm Kati Wasserman, and today's episode is one I'm really excited about because it connects the dots between what we see on the skin and what's happening inside the body. I'm sitting down with Dr. Gina Nick. She's a naturopathic physician based in Newport Beach, California, the founder of Vitamin G, and someone who has been deep in the world of detoxification, inflammation, and true cellular health for decades. And I love the way she explained things because it's science-based, but it's still practical. Like you can actually take what she says and apply it to your real life. In this conversation, we talk about glutathione, what it is, why it matters for detox and inflammation, how it can impact energy, brain fog, hormones, and even skin concerns like acne and eczema. We also get into toxins and microplastics without spiraling into fear. And she shares some simple daily habits that support healthier aging from the inside out. If you've been feeling tired, inflamed, foggy, or like your skin is trying to tell you something, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Beauty Talk Confessions. I'm Kati Wasserman, and I am here today with Dr. Gina Nick. She is based in Newport Beach, California, and she is the creator behind Vitamin G, and she will be sharing today some tools about energy, vitality, glow, and everyday healing. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Kati. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
I'm excited. Well, we were just chatting before we hit record, and we were just talking, and I'd love for our audience to know a little bit about your story and how you got into being a founder and a researcher and developer.
Oh, gosh. So it goes way back, right? And so it starts with my decision to become a naturopathic physician. Always wanted to be a doctor from when I was very young. And so that was a given. But I was kind of on the track of going to a traditional medical school. I was at UCLA. My uncle worked he was head of immunology at the UCLA medical school. And so that was just what Gina was going to do, right? And then my honors academic counselor gave me a brochure for naturopathic medical school. And I'm like, what is this? Because I was always so passionate about nutrition and what's really going on. What are the real underlying causes of symptoms in people? And he was like, this just sounds more like you. And so I looked into it and I never looked back. I ended up going to Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine. That was the name of the medical school then in Arizona, not far from you.
Yeah.
And from there, I really got passionate about detoxification and the human detoxification system. And it's not talked about enough, in my opinion. And again, this is going back 25 years before there were, juice fasts and cleanses were popular. But when I really studied what it is, so there's this system in your body, just like the cardiovascular system, the hormonal system, the nervous system, right? There's this human detoxification system that basically takes stuff from the environment, toxins, and even toxins that your body makes on its own, and turns them into a form that they can then get excreted through your detox organs.
Yeah.
Your skin, your liver, your colon, your kidneys, lymphatic system. And you in the beauty world, you're very familiar with lymphatic health and of course skin health and how the skin is the largest detox organ in the body. So I was just really passionate about detoxification. And it was one of those things where I didn't learn a lot about it in school. It was what I would go and study on my own, And so, yeah. And from there, I was the director of research for Standard Process Nutrition, which is a supplement company, and it's been around for over 100 years.
Yeah.
And I created a detox program. It's a 21-day purification program for them. It's been in existence now for like over 20 years. And so that's pretty cool. But I kind of got known for, working with detoxification. So fast forward, I have my medical practice, and a company approached me about studying glutathione. They had a particular form of glutathione that was actually absorbed even when it was taken orally. So glutathione is a master antioxidant. You often, like if you go to an IV hydration place, you'll see glutathione is often in a lot of the complexes that
Yeah.
are used because it's so powerful. It's a master antioxidant. But traditionally, I was taught you can't take it in oral form unless it's what's called liposomal. And the
Okay.
challenge was that liposomal tastes kind of gross and you have to refrigerate it usually. And
Okay.
then not all my patients wanted to get injections or get an IV, right? And so when this company approached me and said, "Hey, will you study our glutathione?" And they shared their NIH-funded research showing that this powdered form was actually bioavailable in the cells. So you
Okay.
didn't have to get an injection, right? And my patients could benefit from it, right? And kids could benefit from it.
Yeah.
So because I was hired to do that, a busy doctor, but now I'm getting paid to research this. So I did a deep dive, and there's over 100,000 clinical research studies on glutathione.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. And so I took the time to really study it, and I'm like, why doesn't everybody know about this?
Yeah.
Everybody should know about glutathione. And I used it in my medical practice, and so I did some private practitioner trials on it. And then fast forward, I was giving lectures. I was giving a lecture in London to a group of about 600 healthcare practitioners. And I was like, how many of you guys use glutathione in your practice or are familiar with glutathione? And it was a small fraction of the hands that went up.
Yeah.
And it was at that time where I was like, you know what? I want to make glutathione a household name. I want everybody to know about it. And I want to make it accessible to everyone. And then COVID hit. And so I'm
Uh,
home, homeschooling my daughter and doing all the things that, and as a business owner,
yeah.
it was not an easy time, but I decided because glutathione is very important for immune function and
Yes.
inflammation, and there was a lot of talk about inflammation as it related to COVID. We didn't really understand what it was then. I wanted to make a product that everybody could take, that would be safe, effective, easy to take, enjoyable, that would help boost glutathione levels in the body naturally and lower inflammation.
Amazing.
And I've always custom formulated nutritional supplements for my patients, so I'll do take their blood and so I just like doing that. It's one of those
Y-
things, like I love putting combinations of ingredients together. Even when I'm giving injections, I just like it.
Yeah.
And
I
it
love that.
comes easy to me. So I literally one day I'm like, that's it. I wrote a formula down.
Okay.
Um, and I sent it off to the lab that manufactured my other supplements for my patients. I get the first sample back and it tastes amazing. I wanted it to taste like a pixie stick. Do you remember
Ooh.
pixie stick? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I wanted to like hack sugar because
Yeah.
I'm looking at my daughter, and she's in elementary school at the time. And I'm like, what could I put in her lunchbox when she does go back to school that she'll actually take,
Yeah.
that I know she'll take, that's going to support her immune health, lower inflammation, improve her cognition, all of those things. And so fast forward, it's been through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Here we
I
are.
imagine.
And we just did a rebrand. And so it's very exciting. And there's a little tweak to the formulation. I've added something called inulin to it, which is a prebiotic.
Okay.
Um, but that's how I kind of fell into glutathione. My passion has always been detoxification. Glutathione is like one of the most important things when you look at detoxification in the body. It's
Yeah.
manufactured in almost every cell in your body. There's a higher concentration like in the liver. So it's very important for hormone balance and clearing out hormones from your body. It's important for collagen synthesis. It's important for brain health.
Yeah.
So your brain is very vulnerable to exposure to toxins.
Yeah.
And the levels of glutathione in your brain, the concentrations are less than other parts of your body, which makes the brain more vulnerable to exposure to toxins.
Okay.
So, like when you're exposed to toxins, whether it's mold, yeast, virus, chemicals in your makeup, you name it. There's so many toxins that we're exposed to. Those toxins go into your cells and they can congregate in the mitochondria of your cells, the
Yeah.
powerhouse of your cells, to where energy is produced. That's where they go. And that's where glutathione is. And glutathione neutralizes those toxins. But your body gets depleted. If you're exposed to a lot of toxins over time, your body gets depleted. of
Yeah.
glutathione, which is why it's so powerful and so effective in so many people. So
I love that.
there you go.
Well, that's
I
amazing.
coined the phrase vitamin G because not everybody knows what it's not like an easy word to remember,
Yeah.
if you're not in the industry, and so I've been referring to it as vitamin G.
I love
It's
that.
easy to remember,
Yeah. That is easy to remember.
yeah.
So for people that are listening that are not familiar with glutathione, you explained it a little bit how it is something that we naturally have, but then we can lose it because of toxins. Is there kind of a more layman's term or a way to describe glutathione and really why it's necessary to have a vitamin that has glutathione in it?
Well, it's an antioxidant.
Okay, perfect.
So,
Thank you.
basically, it neutralizes
Yeah,
the toxins. So
perfect.
it's your body's natural way, and one of the most important ways that your body naturally handles exposure to toxins. Toxins cause damage to
Yeah,
your cells, cause reduced functioning in your body, are the cause of the vast majority of symptoms that you face.
definitely.
Yeah.
And so with this new rebranding with the vitamin G and then your additive in there, are you seeing a difference with people that are having the probiotic that's added in with glutathione?
Yeah, so it's a prebiotic.
Oh, prebiotic,
And I
sorry.
added it. So really, I didn't wanna put any sugar in the Pixie Sticks, but I
Okay.
wanted it to taste sweet. And so there's a little bit of stevia, a little
Okay.
bit, and then I use glycine, which is an amino acid,
Okay.
also is slightly sweet, and it's also one of the 3 amino acids found in glutathione.
That's amazing.
Glutathione is a tripeptide, and
Yeah.
so glycine is one of the peptides. So anyway, and then I added inulin, one, because it's a prebiotic. So
Okay.
glutathione is very good for digestive health. It's very important for your gut. And I wanted to include a prebiotic to further feed the good bacteria in your gut.
Definitely.
And it just enhances the role that glutathione plays specifically in gut health.
Okay.
And then also, I liked the impact it had on the flavor. So it was just a little tweak. And we came out with a rose lemonade. We have fruit punch
Oh my
too,
God.
but the taste, it tastes even better. The ones that are on the market right now taste amazing.
Yes.
These taste even better.
Oh,
And so that's
yeah.
really it. It was just an enhancement, and so when people like the taste of something, they're gonna use it more and more. And
Yeah.
what I notice with my patients is they keep taking it. So you always know when something's working when they keep doing it without you telling them to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, "Hey, do I need to order more Pixie Sticks?" It's like, okay. They wouldn't take them if it didn't work
Yeah.
and it wasn't, like, doable to take it daily,
Yeah. Wasn't
you
enjoyable.
know?
I love
Yeah,
that. That makes sense.
so
So, with your patients that you've seen that have started taking this vitamin G, how long are you seeing it effectiveness kind of take into play?
yeah. Totally depends on what you're dealing with,
Okay.
And so if you have a chronic illness, sometimes it can take a little longer of taking the glutathione to really see changes.
Of course.
Um, if you have like an immediate, like a hormonal imbalance, like menopause
Yeah.
related
Yeah.
imbalances, women tend to see results quicker, but everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody is different.
Yeah.
Um, I'll give you an example just with myself. Yesterday, so this is also a warning, everybody check your vents. Like, make sure that your filters are clean, especially if you have pets,
Oh my gosh.
because, exposure to toxins through your vents, including mold, is a real thing that a lot of people don't talk about, and it causes massive inflammation.
Yeah.
So, I turned on yesterday, it was really hot here in California relative to how it's been. I turned on the AC and it smelled odd, right? And I have dogs and a cat. I mean, we're like a barn here. And I'm like, "That doesn't," but I literally, like, put my nose up to the vent, and
Okay.
I knew it.
Right
I
away. Yeah.
normally don't have sinus issues ever.
Okay.
Boom. Like, within an hour, I
Oh
was having
no.
symptoms, and sure enough, the filter was disgusting, needed to be replaced, so check your filters. Um, but I took a Pixie Stick, I took this, and I immediately noticed a difference. And then
Amazing.
today I'm taking, 3 of them instead of 1 because I'm noticing I'm doing this podcast, I'm talking to patients, all that. I can't have, like, sinus issues happening,
Yeah.
and so there's an immediate effect as well,
Okay.
right? And I think it's just that immediate, like, giving your body a boost of what it naturally knows what to do with.
Yeah.
to get rid of those toxins that are triggering inflammation.
Yeah. I love that. That makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
Well,
For hunger, it cuts hunger too.
okay.
Like, when you take them, it takes the edge off of being hungry for those people that are attracted to the GLP 1, 2, 3s and all of
Yeah.
that. Um, Glutathione helps a lot actually
I
with
can see that.
cutting hunger. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and just
So
also helping with the brain fog and everything as you're going through these changes, and then probably helping also with like the just urge to eat and all of that. That bug in the back of your mind that just bothers you when you're trying to get a diet or trying to get through a diet.
the mind chatter.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's I added the pixie sticks, so the 21-day purification program that I created for Standard Process back when I lived in Flagstaff, actually. It
Right.
was 2 decades ago. Um, I added the pixie sticks to that program for my patients. So
Okay.
I've added glutathione because back then I knew about it, but I didn't have access to a way to put it in that program. So
Yeah.
I've added the pixie sticks to it, and it really helps with, reducing hunger. That's why I was bringing that up, because when
Yeah.
you're on the purification program, you're not consuming as many calories, and it's a drastic shift to your normal day-to-day diet,
Yeah.
and they help a lot.
That's
So,
so nice.
yeah.
That's great to help with the temptations.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So with
Um
inflammation, how have you seen that showing up in the body and on the skin? You talked about your experience with the vent immediately in your lungs, but with what you're seeing with patients, how are you seeing that?
in terms of skin health?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I've seen changes in, like, eczema, acne, are big ones. I think the way that glutathione is supporting skin health is, of course, supporting the largest detox organ in your body, right?
Yeah.
Is your skin, but also through its role in hormone balance.
Yeah.
Well, hormones play a big role in skin health, right?
Yeah.
And so when you take glutathione, and you supplement and boost your body's natural ability to manufacture glutathione. So this formula doesn't just have glutathione in it. It has the cofactors that help your body to maintain what's called reduced glutathione or active glutathione in your body.
Okay.
And so there's like a cycling that happens when
Okay.
you take glutathione or your body manufactures it, binds to toxins to get rid of them, right? And it goes from what's called the reduced or active form to what's called the oxidized form of glutathione.
Okay.
From there, your body, in its innate wisdom, will recycle that glutathione back to an active form. But to do that, it uses a bunch of cofactors and nutrients,
Okay.
things like zinc and magnesium. And so those are all in this formula as well. So the purpose of the formula is not just to take glutathione, but to support your body's natural process of maintaining active glutathione, reduced glutathione.
That's great. I love that.
And so, yeah. And so as it relates to skin health, I also see improvements in collagen, synthesis. So just mostly women comment on the improvements in their skin.
Okay.
The most surprising thing that I saw was the role that the pixies played in hormonal health.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting it. Like, when we were putting together the marketing plan for the pixie sticks, it was
Yeah.
more about immune health, inflammation, brain health, and detoxification, and supporting kids' health because it's easy for them to take. But my patients who are in perimenopause and menopause, the testimonials from them were amazing. Things like one of my patients won't take any supplements. Just won't, not interested, not gonna do it, didn't wanna take bioidentical hormones, but she was experiencing all the symptoms of perimenopause, right? So
Yeah.
she couldn't sleep, her skin had changed, she just didn't feel like herself, and this was the only thing she took, and when she took it, her symptoms went away. And then, being a skeptic, which I'm all about, like, absolutely question, and if you're
Yeah.
gonna take something and spend the money on it, make sure it works for you.
Yeah.
But so she took a break, and then her symptoms came back, and then she got back on it, and so she swears by it, you know?
That's amazing.
So that was the most surprising thing that I've seen is the role that it plays in hormonal health, especially for women kinda going through hormonal changes, which that all shows up in your skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that, and that's something that is, I feel like, really being talked about lately, but not enough in our world, but finally, we're having people interested in talking about hormonal changes and also when menopause happens and the onset of it, and I feel like just having something like this to support that, even to be on it ahead of time, will probably help with like some of the fatigue and the fogginess that people are feeling and ease
Oh, yeah.
into that change.
Yeah. I mean, when you're exposed to there are certain toxins that actually mimic hormones in your body, but it's like so they bind to hormone receptors. They're called xenoestrogens,
Okay.
but they're stronger and they're not good for you, right? So,
Yeah.
but they bind to those estrogen receptors. So, guess what that does? It blocks healthy estrogen from binding to those receptors
Yeah.
at a time when your hormones are all over the place anyway, as things are fluctuating in perimenopause,
Oh, yeah.
which can last 10 years,
Yeah.
in women. And so detoxing or supporting detoxification helps to get rid of those xenoestrogens
Yeah.
and keep those receptors open for healthy estrogen. Um, so
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's great. Well, so I feel like what I see, and you probably see it as well, is there's a lot of women in the world that are feeling pressured to age backwards. And you've already talked about how glutathione helps, but really from your naturopath's perspective, what do you feel and how do you see healthy aging actually look and what does it look like?
I think the most important things are reducing stress and sleep. Like if, big picture wise, do women supporting help their own stress response and supporting like prioritizing their sleep, I
Yeah.
think are some of the most important things, in terms of health and well-being and beauty. Beyond that, it's being mindful of exposure to toxins. And so I always say, like, your do one thing every day consciously that helps to reduce the burden on your body,
Okay.
the toxic burden. It could
Yeah.
be, okay, I'm not gonna drink water from a plastic water bottle,
Yes.
it could be that. It could be, I'm going to do sauna therapy because that supports my skin detox organ. Do one thing daily, consciously to support your detox mechanisms, and that will help to lower the burden. And when you lower the burden, you, you slow down the damage done to your cells, which is associated with aging,
Yeah. I love
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that, and so because and also supporting detoxification helps with hormone balance.
Yeah.
The more balanced your hormones are, it makes it easier to go through those transitions in
Yeah.
life.
I can
So,
see that.
yeah.
I would love to know in your career and especially with you creating this vitamin, how have you seen, because I feel like there's such a talk right now about all of the microplastics in the world and all these toxins. And so you've had this around for 20 plus years and you also worked on the other my brain just went completely blank on what that was called. I don't know why. The
The
other
purification.
detox. Yes, the
The
other detox.
purification
Yeah.
program.
And
Mhm.
so like the whole buzz about microplastics, do you feel like that's going to be the biggest toxin that people are exposed to, or is it really individualized? Because that's just been such a buzz as I've been doing these interviews that I've been hearing. And I'm like, the more information I'm getting, I was told recently that we ingest a credit card size amount of microplastics a month. And it was like,
Gross.
I'm so aware of things in the beauty industry, but I'm like, okay, this is definitely really becoming a buzz and it's important. But I
Mhm.
just was wondering, I kind of in your process and your experience, how you've seen that.
Well, some of my colleagues are starting to question some of the research, like where
Yes.
this stuff is coming from, right? And
Okay.
so, like take all this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Big picture wise, no question, we are exposed to more toxins today
Yes.
than we were 50 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no question, right? And I don't think our bodies have evolved to the point of being able to handle that burden.
Okay.
Your body is constantly detoxing. The
Yeah.
fact that glutathione is found in every cell in your body, those trillions of cells, says something,
Yeah.
right? The fact that all these different organs are part of this elaborate detoxification system
Yeah.
says something. Your body knows that it needs to get rid of toxins in the environment.
Definitely.
But it's like we're more burdened today. The different sources, like, you can go overboard and freak out about all of it, or just be mindful. Pick
Yeah.
one thing a day and say, okay, I'm going to make this change, just to support my body's detoxification mechanisms and lower that burden. Make
I love that.
sense?
Yeah, that does
Okay.
make sense.
Yeah.
When I feel like just listening, it's like adding the vitamin G into your system is already one thing you can do, and then it's, like, a little easier to add in something else that's gonna be effective.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay hydrated. I mean, there's so many things that don't spend as much time on social media.
Oh my
Take
god.
a social media, break.
Yeah.
You're not gonna I mean, there's only you don't need to have, like, information overload. Your
Yeah.
nervous system can only take so much.
Yeah.
And so and you have so much innate wisdom. I always tell my patients, you know your body better than anybody else ever will. You've been
Definitely.
living in it your whole life. So don't underestimate your own intuition and
Yeah.
your own knowledge of
Yeah.
what does and doesn't work for you,
I love that.
you know? Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I would love to know, besides glutathione and detoxing, is there any other ingredients or daily habits that you feel like truly moves the needle when it comes to like energy level and long-term health?
Um, I mean, if you have nutritional deficiencies,
Yeah.
finding out if you have nutritional deficiencies, it's so foundational
Yeah.
and so impactful. So if there are specific amino acid deficiencies that you have, looking into peptide therapy to address that. And now there's lots of different tests available to look at what are you deficient in, and then
Yeah.
balance that out. So I think taking the time to find out what your own body is deficient in is very important. And then same thing with hormones. Getting a full hormone panel to really see, what hormones are out of balance and then what you can do to balance them out. Those things, peptides, amino acid therapy, and hormone balance therapy move the needle
I love
quite
that.
a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I've even seen that in my spa. I have at some points done, I've worked with another woman in town where we've done IV therapy during treatments. And my clients that have committed to, excuse me, the more intense IV therapies, and then been doing my intensive treatments, their skin is phenomenal. And
Right.
then to hear their lifestyle change, and it's been really cool to see that transformation where it's
Yeah.
like something this little, and it really started from their curiosity of why is this in my skin not changing? And we had that option, and I've had a lot of people, like I said, take advantage of it. And then it's like they've then now done a hormone panel, and it's just to understand more because we're only here to help people out and we can only understand so much as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
love it.
that's amazing that you do that, so that having that integration is
Yeah.
where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen just like transformation with like my acne clients and then
Yeah.
aging clients. And it's just been like so cool where I love some of the treatments, but I feel like at points, and especially you've been in Northern Arizona, it
Yeah.
kind of dulls people a little bit. And so they're really needing that transformation. We're at 9,000 feet. So it's like they need to have that body hydration and everything like that. And so it's just been cool to have that offered. And I love that that's something that is able to be added into like the beauty realm and not
Yeah.
just one specific area, I guess.
Yeah. 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 And for altitude, glutathione is also very important. It helps with altitude sickness and things like that. So
Okay.
because it's an antioxidant.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, that's great. Well, I feel like the
Yeah.
pixie sticks need to be out here for especially the people that come up from the valley and like
I know.
they
Oh,
drive
yeah.
up to the mountain and immediately are hit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that's a pretty steep climb.
yeah.
So,
I know. It really is. And it always happens at the most interesting times and people that have never experienced it. And they're like, what just happened?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, hydration is good, and that's where IV hydration is great. There's some controversy over the role that IV glutathione actually plays in the
okay.
body.
Okay.
So, one of my colleagues, Dr. Patel, he wrote The Glutathione Revolution,
Hmm.
and he is adamant that IV glutathione doesn't work,
Okay.
that it just burdens the system, that the glutathione tripeptide molecule is too big to actually get into the cells.
Okay.
And so it's one of those things. That's one opinion,
Yeah.
but it's something to be mindful of. And I'm always like, okay, look at what the body is doing and learn from your own body, like how it
Yeah.
works. And your body manufactures its own glutathione. So
Yeah.
like when I made this formula, I looked at what's the average amount that the body naturally manufactures on its own. And if you were in a bubble where you weren't exposed to any toxins, and you ate a perfect whole food, farm grown diet, right in your backyard,
Yeah.
how much glutathione would you be consuming? in
Okay.
your diet, right? And then I looked at those numbers to decide what would be an appropriate amount to supplement day to day versus just a big IV push.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I'll give glutathione injections in my practice to certain patients, so I'm not
Yes.
opposed to that. I
Yeah.
just want to kind of bring that up as a conversation point of, is it healthier to be taking something like glutathione daily at a dose that your body recognizes and can use
Yeah.
versus too much at one time,
Yeah.
because your body's under what's called tight homeostatic control with
Yeah.
glutathione. So it's very regulated, the amount of glutathione it will allow into
Yeah.
your cells. The rest gets rejected.
Well, and that makes sense because I feel like in some of even my own experiences getting IVs, you are hit with that uneasy feeling. And I have had some stories that people have told me where they were driving home and then had to go to the bathroom or other things like that. And it's like that makes sense that there was probably so much overdose supply of it where your body needed to get it out somehow.
Yeah, and I love IVs. I think
Yeah.
IVs are definitely necessary, especially in the future. Like,
Yes.
IVs are wonderful. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as it relates to glutathione, more is not necessarily better.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and
having it
it's
more
more
on a
about
regular basis and
yeah,
consistency versus just hitting yourself with it. And that makes
yes,
sense because it's naturally, like you said, our body's detoxifying, and so it's going through that cycle every single day, and getting hit with it, you really do need it like a supplement.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I love it. I love that. So I think really I've asked all my questions. This was amazing. I have one question I always like to end on. I like to always ask my guests, what is one ritual or one routine that you can't live without?
There's so many. There's so many. One that I can't live without. Oh, meditating first thing in the morning,
Okay.
even if it's 5 minutes.
I love that.
Just sitting there and, just closing my eyes and breathing and kind of setting my day, is something that is super important to me,
I
you
love
know?
that.
When I
Yeah.
had more time, I would take a bath first thing in the morning, but
Mm.
now that, I'm a mom and all those things and business owner and, I don't have the time necessarily
Yeah.
for that, but taking those, even if it's 5 minutes, first thing in the morning, super important for me.
I love that. That's amazing. Well, do you have anything else you want to share? I will in a moment ask where people can find you, but is there anything else that you want to share that I may have not touched base on with your vitamin G?
Um, I really just invite people to research glutathione, learn more about it, and expose yourself to what it is and what it can do for you, because most people don't know about it. And again, my mission is to make glutathione a household name, so
Yeah,
everyone knows about vitamin G.
I love that.
Yeah.
I did have a question that came up. So, with someone who's listening and is kind of starting the process of maybe having some body changes and looking into naturopath or kind of traditional medicine, do you feel like glutathione is talked about across the board, or would it be something that naturopath kind of style of where your work is it's going to be more discussed? Because I feel like there's two different methods of how the world works with how the doctors work and everything like that, and how people are treated.
I mean, my vision is for there to be true integration,
Yeah,
where we all work together.
I love that.
Functional medicine doctors, naturopathic physicians are going to be more familiar in general with glutathione. Everybody's different. There may be, an allopathic doctor who happens to be very passionate about it. But in general, it's something that we're taught early on in school, and it's so central to detoxification. And we're taught a lot, about just how certain nutrient deficiencies and antioxidant deficiencies cause harm to the body. And there's
Yeah,
emphasis put on that,
yeah,
And so there's just there's more education given to functional medicine doctors and to naturopathic physicians about things like glutathione. And
yeah.
so I'd say in general, you're going to probably get more answers and a better approach if you're wanting to incorporate something like that into your treatment plan, working with, someone who is more well versed in that type of thing.
I love that. Well, I know my personal experience, I have asthma and recently had experience like yourself where I was actually in Vegas for a conference and the room we were in, The vent was completely covered in like soot, and it caused me to have an asthmatic like cough, and it was just this horrible experience. It lasted for quite a while, and I was seeing my traditional doctor out here, and then I went to see a naturopath, and within a week of this little sugar pills that she gave me and a couple adjustments, my cough was gone, and it was like,
Yeah, I love that.
thank you,
I
and
love that.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It changed my life, and
Yeah.
it was such a different experience from any other appointment as well, because, like, even going to a pulmonologist, like, they're detailed, but she was, like, asking me specifics about, like, my life and all these other
Yeah.
things and trying to figure out, like, is this caused internally, or is there outside, or is it a combination of both? And, yeah, I was convinced at that point where I was like, "Why have I not done this before?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a totally different approach, and it's like acknowledging the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical components to whatever symptoms you're facing, and the role that those symptoms are playing in your life and why they're there,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
the generational impact. And so, yeah, there's so much to it. And but
Yeah.
when you're looking to get to the underlying cause, homeopathic medicine, those little sugar pellets,
Yeah.
is amazing.
I
It's
love
an
them.
amazing form of medicine. If you know what
Yeah.
you're doing, it's incredible. And really, when I was trained in homeopathic medicine, that's what really taught me to look at a person and dive deep into what is contributing to their symptoms. Because you have to know, do they sleep with the covers over their feet or not over their feet? It seems
Yeah.
so. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
Actually, it has a lot to do with everything, right? And so really getting to that detail of what's happening in this person's life in order to match the right treatment to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Well, and that's so important, because I feel like you just see it all, and you're really seeing that person, and for you to have that foundation and that background and then creating this product, I'm excited for you. It's great.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love for our listeners to know, where can they find you, follow you, find vitamin G if they are interested in it?
Yeah. So if you go to vitaming.com, easy to remember, there's a wealth of information there. There's a lot of education
Yeah.
on glutathione. So if you're wanting to really find out what the deal is, what are the actual studies on this tripeptide, you can go to vitaming.com. And then in terms of social media, Instagram, it's just DrGinaNick, Dr. Gina Nick. And then my medical practice website is just drgina.com.
Amazing. Well, you'll have that all in our show notes below. And this was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for being a part of this space and for listening to today's episode of Beauty Talk Confessions. I wanted to take a moment and recognize our amazing sponsors, Prickly Bear, a desert-curated post-hair removal skincare line with pre- and post-care products created to support healthy skin beyond the treatment room, launching this summer. If this conversation resonated with you, make sure to follow the show and share it with someone in the beauty industry. Staying connected is how we grow, learn, and support each other. You can also follow us on Instagram at Beauty Talk Confessions and Prickly Bear for updates, behind the scenes, and more conversations like this. And if you have a moment, leaving a review helps this podcast reach more people who need this conversation too, and it would mean the world to me. This is Beauty Talk Confessions, and I'll see you next week.